Now I'm going to go through the steps necessary to actually burn my folder full of my files that I wish to back up onto a CD or a DVD. The steps are the same, whichever you choose, CD, DVD, it works the same. So first we're going to go to the Start menu, Programs, and Roxio. And we're going to open the Drag to Disk icon. And that will open up this little window which will allow me to then drag my files right onto this image of a CD or a DVD, and it will just do its thing. So next we'll insert the DVD or the CD. After a few moments we'll get a window that pops up that says, hey, you've inserted a CD, what do you want to do? So we're going to select Take No Action and click OK. Now for those of you who've used create a burnable CD folder, you can do that with CDs, but it does not like DVDs, so that's why I'm using this. Now with the CD or the DVD inserted, we simply drag our folder from our desktop onto the picture of the disk in the Drag to Disk window, and it does its thing. It does take a while, so you have to wait and be patient. Depending on how many files you have, how much stuff you're backing up, it will take longer. There, now as you see, it burned my folder to the disk, and then it mounted the disk and opened the disk to display the folder that is now in there. And if I were to open that up, I'd see all of my files. Next, what you need to do is finalize the disk. So I'm going to click down here on this eject button, and this is an important step. Click on this eject button and it says, okay, do you want to leave the disk open to use the disk on this computer or on computers with compatible drag to disk versions, or close the disk and prepare the disk to be used without drag to disk? Now here's the catch. If you want to add additional files to this disk, you need to leave it open. If, however, you want to take this disk home and stick it in your PC at home and you don't have this drag to disk Roxio drag to disk application, you won't be able to read it. So you have to make a decision. Do I want to close the disk now, or do I want to add additional files? If you want to add additional files, leave the disk open and then eject the disk. That way later you can put the disk back into the same computer, put additional files on there, and then it will ask you again, okay, do you want to leave it open or do you want to close it? At some point you need to select close the disk, because you want to be able to put this disk in either your computer at home or in the fall, put the disk in the computer when you return and make sure that you can read the files. It's not going to do you any good to burn a disk that you can't read. So I'm going to say close the disk and then eject. This is going to take some time to actually finalize the disk and do what they call close the disk. It will no longer be writable. You won't be able to add any additional files to it, but you'll be able to pull all the files off from it. And then in the fall, what you'll do is drag that folder from the disk back onto your desktop. And then you'll have all your files accessible, ready to edit, modify, whatever you want to do with it. And you'll still have your backup. Once the process completes, it'll spit your disk out and you'll have your backup. Now, wasn't that fun and easy?